Welcome to Let's Face the Facts, the rewatch podcast for the classic sitcom, The Facts of Life. Join us each week as we synopsize, analyze, criticize, and ultimately idolize the show. And now, here's your host of Let's Face the Facts, the wonderful David Almeida.
Thank you, Matthew Arter. Welcome back. It's another week, another show. Thank you for downloading and pressing play. This week, Matthew and I welcome Jamie-Lyn Markos back to the podcast. It has been a hot minute since I have been able to pin this lady down, and thankfully we were able to make it all work out schedule-wise, and we are thrilled to have her. And as I said last time, she is a super fun, funny, talented, incredible, gorgeous, awesome human being, and I just adore her. We are going to be discussing Season 9, Episode 15, A House Divided, which had an original air date of January 30th of 1988. Are you ready to jump on in? Let's face the facts with Jamie-Lyn Markos. Welcome back to the show, Jamie-Lyn Markos.
Yay! Thanks for having me back, boys.
Hello! It's so great to see your face again. I did get to actually see you. I've seen you a couple of times during or since the pandemic, but it seems like a good long time since we walked out of Hollywood studios on March 15th of 2020 for that 2-week shutdown that was supposed to happen for the pandemic to pass.
When we were coming back on April Fool's Day. Yeah.
Yeah, that was totally going to happen the whole time.
Worst joke ever.
Matthew was also here. Hey, Matthew.
Hello, Jamie-Lyn, my twin sister.
Hello.
So good to see you.
I'm so happy to see you.
Did you say that your characters were twins at Citizens of Hollywood?
Oh, yeah. Wink and Evie were twins.
I made that up just so I would get to work with her more.
Oh,
It
very
worked.
smart.
It did work.
Very nice. Yep. Well, we have an episode to discuss this week.
Yes. It's an episode.
It's an episode, and it exists. And I believe we can say without any question, we watched it.
Yes, I did. Twice, actually.
Oh, my God.
I did. I had to verify.
That doesn't pay extra. You know that, right?
Well, I know. That short-term memory problem. I need to refresh myself. I listened to it mostly the first time around, and then I watched it for all the juicy tidbits that I might have missed. And I was kind of disappointed about the juicy tidbits.
It's too bad because you were last with us, Jamie-Lyn, in September of 2019.
Gosh.
It's been over 3 years since you sat at my dining room table with me in my grand room back when we did this in person, and we got to watch Runaway.
Yeah.
That episode was a BM episode before Matthew. And Matthew, that's the one where Tootie ends up in the diner and is almost recruited into a life of sex work. I believe my favorite moment was when Tootie finally wakes up, when finally comes the dawn. What is going on? When the waitress is like, "Bitch, are you an idiot?" So when Tootie goes back to the girl and says to her, "You don't have to put on this act anymore. I know what you're doing. I'm not that stupid." And you and I together both went, "Yes,
You are.
you are really that stupid."
You had no idea about Purple Pocket Square Man right there behind you being all sleepy. Can't forget that.
She's got the look. I want her. And it's like, what look?
Can you tell him a pimp? I have purple on.
14-year-old Tootie with her fucking braces. Really? That's the look you think, dudes? Okay. Wow. I guess you know your clientele better than we do.
What a fine young woman Tootie grew up to be in the 3 years absence that I've been to get to season, what are we, 9 now?
And that one was season 3. So this is 6 years down the road in her timeline.
Good. That was my question. How old are they exactly at this point?
Oh, are you asking about the ages of the characters,
Yes, because
Jamie-Lyn?
I did not. I'm sorry. Did I? Did I trigger something?
I'll see you in an hour.
Could I
I
have the?
obsess over the ages of the characters. And
yeah.
Matthew finds it what's the word I'm trying to say? Lugubrious.
Oh.
So
Thank you, Beverly Ann. Yeah.
okay. Let's just go through that. Blair and Joe are both 23. Okay.
Oh,
They are
okay.
both college graduates. Joe is now working at a help community center, her first year out of college. Blair, in her first year out of undergraduate school, is in her first year of law school.
Yeah. Gathered that, all the books.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Natalie is 20. She did take 2 years off to work after she got out of high school. So even though she is 20, she's a freshman in college.
Okay.
And Tootie is 19. She is a sophomore in college.
Okay. She's only 19.
She is
All
19.
right.
Kim Fields in real life is 18. So she's playing 1 year older. There was a time she was playing 2 years older.
And this is the era of the 80s where all young teenage and 20-something-year-olds looked like they were in their mid 50s.
Yes.
With very young faces. So I was a bit confused with everybody looked like they were going to the office at one point. And I went, oh no, that's just their fashion.
Yeah.
Yes.
Was it Ken Reed who said they all look like first ladies?
Yes.
They're all dressed like first ladies.
It's like, how old are they? Are they pushing 30?
Yeah.
They said something about children at the very beginning of the episode, and then the kid walked in. I was like, oh, is that one of their? Oh no.
Does Blair have a 14-year-old?
I don't remember how far this went in their season. So yeah.
So that's where we are. So with in the show, of course, talk of Tootie and her fiance Jeff. That's because she is 19, and so
that's a little more upsetting.
It's appropriate, but yeah, at the same time, when you realize we've been watching her since Tootie was 12, but Kim Fields at the time was 10.
Yeah, little girl.
9 if you count the backdoor pilot from Different Strokes the previous year. So we've been seeing her. Technically, she's been playing this role for a decade. So before we get too far ahead of ourselves, the episode we're going to be discussing is season 9, episode 15, called A House Divided, which had an original air date of January 30th, 1988. And it was written by Mark Tuttle. This is his final of 3 episodes. He wrote last week's episode called Peak Skill Law, and his first one was A Rose by Any Other Age. And he is an executive script consultant for the entire season. So he is in the writer's room and contributing, even though we don't see actual writing credits from him. And the episode was directed by John Boab. That's your nuts and bolts.
Wow.
Jamie-Lyn, I don't know if I was doing this when we last met, but now is the time of the show where we like to put our guest on the spot.
Oh, God.
And ask you if you could please provide a 1 to 2 sentence synopsis of the entire episode, similar to just the listing you might find in a TV guide.
Oh, okay. On this episode of The Facts of Life, the girls quickly learn the devastating result of social class wars within their love lives.
And I love that you delivered that as William Shatner. 100% appropriate. Bravo!
Or how quickly it is to become a complete and total bitch to your best friend over some dude. That would probably be the more appropriate.
Yeah, it's pretty awful.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. This is just that's my pre-review of this episode is just
Yeah.
All I wrote down was Joe can't fix a bike.
Oh my God.
I had that question
my God.
too. Wasn't that the whole big thing about her whole appearance in the very first episode that she appeared in? I fix motorcycles.
If you knew how many times since you last enjoyed the show, and I'm operating under the assumption that you have not gone back and watched every episode between that last one and now. No, she has not.
Oh, that breaks my heart. You missed Edna's Edibles, where she ran a drug front. You've missed Over Our Heads. We just saw the Over Our Heads for the last time.
The Spencer's Gifts that they opened.
why I can go back and listen to every one of these episodes of the podcast.
That's right. And you're just waiting for us to finish out the entire series before you
Yes.
begin.
So I can binge it all in one day.
Yeah, that's
the
funny.
complete story.
That's what all of my friends are telling me that they're going to do. That's so interesting. Everybody says that. But if you knew how many times we had Joe with the carburetor and an oily rag wiping it down, I got a repair to my bike. I got it.
Just like her.
And so, thank you. I'm a professional actor.
I know.
And she would have it up in the bedroom with her. Like anywhere in the house. It's like you couldn't clean your carburetor out in the garage where your fucking bike is.
I bet that is what she calls it. Just gonna go up here and clean my carburetor.
Yeah. Up in the bedroom with Blair. Oh. So
she did say though, she did that episode of Mondays with Mindy, and it was funny because one of the questions Mindy asked her was, what is something that people are surprised to find out about you? And she said that I know nothing about automotive anything.
Mm-hmm.
That I actually know what a carburetor or a screwdriver is.
So true.
Mm-hmm,
Yes, so true. So we do have kind of an A story and a B story going on in this episode. So as we often do on this show, we are going to tackle the B story first.
Oh, okay.
So in this, Joe clearly can't repair her bike. She took her bike to a bike shop. The dude says he did a repair. She paid him $200, and then her bike still isn't working. And so because he gives her some pushback and she doesn't want to have to go and fight it out with him, Blair suggests she stop payment on the check, which she does. And then the dude ends up taking Joe to court. And he does actually come to the house because, you go to the house of the person that you're suing.
That was very confusing. When does your mechanic show up at your front door to collect a payment?
Yeah.
Or tell you that your check bounced?
And when the A story is happening in the living room, it's like, well, why don't I invite you into my kitchen so we can discuss it further?
He does exit out of the kitchen like a natural person would when they come in the front door, just go out the side door when they leave.
Yeah.
It is
natural.
Yes, it's just so fucking weird. But
it's still in his little uniform as well, covered in grease. So we all knew he was a mechanic.
Yeah, in case you weren't sure, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And then we had this trope last week. We had this trope again. Well, Joe, it's your day in court. So let's pretend, let's play act. Beverly Ann, you be the judge and I'm going to be the attorney.
We don't have this set.
Yeah, exactly. We don't have the set and we never do see it.
Yeah, no.
But we do this kind of awkward, painful, unfunny enactment of in court. Cloris Leachman is trying. God bless her. She's got the meat tenderizer hammer, slamming it on the cutting board like she's the judge. And it's not a very good Beverly Ann episode. She has very little to do here.
They tried to give her one funny thing about chickens. It's poorly misplaced, weird story.
If we are going to comment on that scene in the B story, Blair walked away with that scene.
Oh, yes, she did.
When she was pretending to be and scratching her ass and shit.
Yes, yes.
On Lisa Welch.
She chose Southern. Like, isn't he like this New York mechanic? Why is she a hillbilly?
Lisa Welch's from Texas, and that does sneak on in so often in the show where she'll let go and have I'm having a great time. It's like, what?
I loved her in that scene, though. Every choice she made, like putting her, wiping her nose with her sleeve, scratching her ass. I was like, come through, Lisa Welch.
Yes.
And she looks exceptionally gorgeous.
Yes, she does. That was my favorite. This is who I want to grow up and look like version of Lisa Welch.
Didn't we all?
She was in her supreme hair. Supreme hair moment.
No, she hasn't been curling her hair much this season. She's been letting it kind of go straight or wearing it up.
Kind of the Farrah.
Yeah, she had the curls giving it some volume and some body, but then there was that the side part, they had it pulled up, rolled and clipped away.
Oh yeah.
To give it things so very 80s, but so flattering and out of her face.
Gorgeous.
And she also had a slightly smokier eye. But it also had some shimmer highlight on the lids. Like she almost had a cut crease.
She was looking very tan. Very, very glowy, dewy skin.
I mean, yeah.
Sun-kissed look.
Matthew, what are you reacting? I'm seeing you visually doing things.
Well, you've got a woman and a professional drag queen on here. And neither one of us were like, there's a smokier eye and there's some glitter on her crease.
I did
Okay.
notice. I did notice that she looked extra.
It
tan.
was an exceptionally pretty look for
Gorgeous.
Lisa Welch, who always looks gorgeous. And I was like,
Yes.
what? Is she prettier in this episode than I've ever fucking seen her? Holy
But
shit.
honestly, because again, I haven't seen them grow to this point. So I was honestly surprised. I'm like, oh, look at everybody grew into themselves. And I hadn't really seen them as full adults and they're gorgeous women. Like all of them look extra beautiful. But then you have Joe with like the most 80s rocker teased out hair. I'm like, oh my God. Oh, the hair.
Yeah.
Oh, all
you
of
missed the
hair.
mullet years.
I don't miss the mullet years.
Yeah.
I'm
And
fully
when I
aware
say
of
you
the
missed the
years.
mullet years, you didn't miss anything, really.
No, I'm glad that I missed that part. And I just saw her go into full like Slayer teased out hair.
Yeah.
Girl loved a banana clip.
Did you all notice when she walked in the door, the very first thing Blair says to her when Joe walks in is, "How's your cold?" And then they say absolutely nothing about it ever again, while she has the most terrible sick voice the entire episode.
Yeah.
And that was a reason I had to go back to watch it a second time. Like, what? Did she always sound like that?
But I appreciated that they acknowledged it.
Me too.
I don't think that was written in. Like, so everyone, she's here. She's feeling better. Her voice sounds like shit.
Yeah.
So we're just gonna
We're just gonna give her a cold.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But then I'm thinking, because then it's like we're in this story beeline and she's gonna go to court. First of all, how long does it take for you to get an appointment in court?
Oh my God. My comment. Big day in court. It was yesterday.
And she's still sick.
And
Still
she
sick.
Still got the cold.
Yeah.
No voice.
Yeah. The plausibility just keeps getting worse and worse in this. So to finish out the plot of this is that there is allegedly a day in court. And when they come back, Blair has basically acted as her attorney. Blair's kind of a Budinsky with this, and Joe is annoyed by it, but they do win the case. And so Joe gets back her $200, at which point Blair presents her with a bill for $500 for legal fees.
Don't forget, though, the mechanic did come back and try to make a deal out of court.
She was like, nope, go fuck yourself and suck a bag of dicks, you shit stain.
Yeah, she said exactly that.
Yeah,
actually.
verbatim. Yeah.
But Blair
I might be paraphrasing. I'm not sure. But we have to, in this storyline, we cannot leave this storyline without acknowledging the cereals they are eating in the morning at breakfast.
Yes.
Both of you, your hands both went up. Okay, this is cereal talk with David, Matthew, and Jamie-Lyn.
Yeah.
All right, somebody make a cereal comment. Go.
Fiber On. Or was it actually Fiber One? Because it looked like they covered the E and made it Fiber On so they didn't have to pay them.
Funny you mention that. That is apparently one of the favorites of the young girls in this
Fiber
household.
On.
Jamie-Lyn, those girls, they need that fiber.
They are regular as clockwork.
Oh my God, their toilet, their plumbing must be wrecked on a daily basis. Considering the health food that Beverly Ann supposedly cooks all the time. But Fiber On, and it looked like the other one, they just took a magic marker and scribbled out the words of it.
Do you know what it looked like, though? Did you have any theories? I have a theory.
It looked like Honey Nut Cheerios to me.
Correct.
Oh, is that what it was?
It looked. That's what it looked like to
me.
They
mentioned it being sugary.
Yeah.
So I assumed it was something like.
Yeah.
But what I did notice on that cereal box was the ad, the sign, and I just faintly saw the picture on the back of the box where you could get a free Star Trek poster, and it was like.
They're doing all this stuff to blot out logos and not have to pay royalties. And then the cereal box is in profile with a clear Star Trek logo.
Very obvious Star Trek. Like, okay, all right.
And more than that, I wanted to know, what fucking Star Trek poster are you going to get in January of 1988.
Ah, thank you for asking, David.
Yeah.
Did you do some research, Matthew?
This is why I love my dear friend Aaron, who is a Star Trek, self-described Star Trek nerd.
Mhm.
I took a
The
picture
wonderful
of the-
Aaron Chapman.
Yes, I took a picture of the screen and sent it to her. And just as oh, look, what's on here? This is funny. You'll enjoy it. It's a Star Trek reference. She texted back, and she won't mind me quoting.
No.
But she texted back. This was before, the Artemis thing. So I got to go back a little bit.
Yeah.
But she texted back, that's the first season of The Next Generation.
Oh.
And she included a picture, I should send it to you, David, of the Cheerios box
Oh,
that
so
says
it was Cheerio.
because you can get the poster is on the side, but on the back it says win an appearance on Star Trek The Next Generation contest.
Oh my
Shut up.
God.
Or one of 75,000 Enterprise D replicas, stickers, plus bonus mail away poster.
Who would ever?
And the Star Trek The Next Generation took the airwaves by storm in 1987. And General Mills ramped up the advertising for them. So
Yep. I am so glad you mentioned it. And thank you, Aaron, for that information, because it didn't even occur to me that it had to do with the TV show. I was looking at this going, what the fuck Star Trek are they promoting? Because this was filmed in September of 87, broadcast in January of 88. Well, the last movie was Star Trek IV, The Voyage Home. That was 86. Star Trek V, The Final Frontier, wouldn't be released till June of 89. It's still a year and a half away. So I'm like,
I didn't realize it crossed over like that.
So yeah, I was just like, wait, what, huh? So it made no sense to me, but it didn't even occur to me that TNG, as the kids call it, had just premiered.
Did they air on the same channel?
No, it was in syndication.
So it was an accidental advertisement for Star Trek on that cereal box.
Exactly.
Because it was just on that cereal box.
Yeah.
I will bet they did not intend for the
wondering.
side panel of that box to be shown, because they went to such lengths to, like you said, just look like they just
fiber on.
Just covered up the Honey Nut Cheerios and fiber on. This is probably the 6th time we've seen the fiber on easily. It is a regular part of their meals.
Oh no.
Yeah. Okay. I am so happy.
I also loved, and it made me think the little sexist things that our society has done. For example, skim milk was always, growing up for me anyway, and on this show, was always in a pink container.
It was.
Yeah. Yep.
Because skim milk only girls drink. And Tab, the first diet drink, pink cans. Like, just come on. Really, America? Really?
Yeah.
Anyway.
Because women needed a diet. Get some inches off those thighs, bitch.
Hey.
What? I wasn't talking to you, Jamie.
I'm sorry.
Okay, that wasn't directed at you.
Took it personally because that's my internal voice.
Okay, I'm sorry if you felt attacked. So not my intention.
I relate to it too much. So moving on, skim milk and all.
Yeah. Coming from a person who should also be having skim milk in his coffee instead of cream. Yeah. So I think
put some almond milk in that, for God's sake. That is cow milk. It's not for you.
I know I should.
True.
I am overdue for a complete diet overhaul. I am back up to my heaviest weight right now, and I'm it's the worst time of year to kind of discover that, when you're like,
holidays. Let me eat all of my sadness.
Like I'm gonna go start dieting now. Like I'm really gonna try to improve my, no.
If
you want the Thanksgiving turkey and the stuff? Nope, gonna have my rotisserie chicken and broccoli. No.
You could have some toad in the hole.
I'm glad you mentioned that.
Because it was the first, what I like to call, Jamie-Lyn, what
Uh-huh.
I like to call a punchable Pippa moment.
Okay, yeah, Pippa.
When she says toad in the hole, I was like, punch her out. I'm done
Okay.
already.
I thought she said with her, very clear accent. When I first heard it, I thought she said turd in the hole. And I was like, excuse me, what? And then I had to listen to it again. I went, oh, toad in the hole. And then immediately had to research what that was.
Yeah, and I did too. And were you sorry also?
I was, you know what? No, not after I really looked into it. I was like, okay.
Mhm.
I mean, if you don't mind me explaining,
Please.
it's bangers in Yorkshire pudding, basically. So it's the British pigs in a blanket with
Yeah,
gravy,
yeah. It
but it's supposed
sounds
to look like toads jumping through crevices because that's a cute way to describe food.
yeah. In some
Brought to
circles,
the
in cultures, toad in a hole is is a bird in a nest. It's the egg in the middle of the toast,
That's the American version,
right? But
egg and
the
toast.
Australian 100% is what you just
Yeah.
described. Yeah, I pulled up some pictures online. Words that did not come to my mind were "I want to eat that." I don't know what you guys thought.
I found one recipe of it that actually I'm like, okay, I can understand this now. That didn't look bad. Yorkshire pudding's pretty good.
Yeah. What is Yorkshire
Sausages.
pudding exactly? I forget.
Yorkshire pudding is basically like a savory little pancake dough. Puddings are, I mean, I wouldn't, how would you describe, if I was on the Great British Baking Show, I would have these beautiful words for it.
Think of, okay, David, think of Yorkshire pudding is kind of like bread pudding meets cornbread.
Oh,
Like
okay.
if that's the best way I
You
can kind of,
oil the shit out of a cupcake pan.
yeah,
We're in the batter, which is a lot like pancake batter
yeah,
when you pour it in, and then it kind of fries up on the sides and billows up into
yeah.
like kind of cup shapes.
Oh, so there's a lot of egg in it, and then the egg kind of expands. So there's got
Probably.
to be a
I've
lot of egg
only
in it.
used a box version of it. That's why it reminded me of pancake mix so much. But it's kind of like a sweet and savory bready consistency. And usually you have it with some sort of gravy, a brown gravy, and a pot roast is kind of
Yeah.
like the
I was
standard
thinking
dish.
when I looked up toad in the hole, I was thinking, it would be the best thing to put on this, a nice room temperature hollandaise.
Oh, see that would really, really seal the deal there.
Wow.
Look, at least it wasn't spotted dick.
Oh, had too many of those. Fool me twice, shame on me.
But that was the joke they wanted to use.
You know, that's what they wanted. And the censors were like,
I can't. I don't think we can say that.
so have we exhausted everything that we wanted to talk about in this B story? I hope, because we still have got to tackle this A story.
I literally have 3 lines because it's a Tootie-centric episode with some Natalie thrown in, and Jeff is there. So I was really like just kind of watching it like, I started
It
to
felt like
write
middle-aged
stuff down.
problems.
I was like,
Yeah, the longer form synopsis of the A story is that Tootie and Natalie are preparing a dinner, and in the expositional talk that you have with your friends, it's like, can you believe this is the first time the 4 of us are ever sitting down? I know, it's crazy.
How long have they been dating? This is my other question. She's engaged, so Natalie knows Jeff. They've met.
Yeah.
Their significant others haven't.
We only met Snake a few weeks ago, but Snake had been around about a year before that.
Okay, so Snake is newish, but they're heavily
Snake is
involved.
newer than Jeff. Jeff Tootie dated when they were younger a few seasons ago, and then they went off and he was off the show, and then they brought him back and decided to keep him.
Jeff is to the facts of life, Jamie-Lyn, what I like to think Miles was to Golden Girls.
Oh, gotcha.
He was the one consistent boyfriend for for all the girls, and he was only in like 5 or 6 episodes. But he was the consistent. Like there had to be one person that was dating the same person, because she's been dating him since like 6th grade or something like that.
And now they're engaged instead of, so she's the first one to get engaged.
Correct.
All of them. Okay.
Yes.
Yep.
And next week, Natalie will be the first one to get her ticket punched.
I did see that. I jumped ahead because I was trying to figure out how long they were in the relationship and saw that was the first episode they did that. And I went, oh.
Yeah.
And then immediately was like, but she looks almost 30. They haven't done that. How long have these two been dating? They really seem like they're together.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's probably like a year and a half. She and Snake have probably been together a year and a half as of now and next week when they finally decide to do it.
Because they are talking at the beginning of this, like we're getting married and this is the guy we're going to be spending our lives with and it's this forever.
Yeah. So can you believe we've never actually sat down and had a dinner with the four of us together? And Jeff and Snake have actually never met. Isn't that the weirdest thing? Well, let's all have a great time tonight because what could possibly go wrong?
We're best friends. They're going to be best friends. That's how it works.
So then we do have the second appearance of Robert Romanus as Snake. This is his second of 4 appearances. You recognized him, of course, Jamie-Lyn?
I did, but from Fast Times at Ridgemont High.
Ding, ding.
But wasn't he, did he appear in the very first episode wearing like leather and shredded up jeans or looking anything like somebody who named Snake would look like? You
would think, wouldn't you?
Yeah, because I heard Snake is her boyfriend. I'm like, what? And then he walks in the door and I went...
And the fact, Jamie-Lyn, you've missed the fact that this is only the second time we've seen him.
Okay.
He's been one of those like Vera on Cheers, where we talked about him for a fucking year and built him up to think he was going to look exactly like that. And then this dude walks in.
Why is he dressed like Tim Allen? He's just wearing a plaid shirt, some pressed pleated khaki pants.
What was the casting notice? What was the casting notice for Snake?
He looked like he smelled good.
They built this character. Why would they write on the casting notice? Humble, nice, laid back AF.
Yeah. Completely. But he looked really clean. He looked very, very put together.
But the advocate for the working man.
Well, because they make even when he shows up, he looks very neatly dressed. I even looked at his shoes. Like, they're not like work boots or something. They match his pants. He's wearing a belt. He's tucked in. His hair looks clean. He honestly looks like he would smell like Aqua Velva or something. But, and they make it out like, oh, well, thanks for getting dressed up for our dinner.
Yeah. Well, that's because we know he drives a truck and or lays tar with the road crew.
Oh, but he doesn't drive a truck. He drives a beat up old convertible.
No, I'm sorry. Professional truck driver for his job. He did that. But no, he has this beat up old convertible. Yeah. And so what we're doing is then we bring in Jeff, Todd Hollowell, returning as Jeff. This is his 6th of 8 appearances in this role.
Oh my God, he's in 2 more?
2 more. Well, he's going to be there for Joe's wedding. And then we have the episode where his grandmother gives a necklace or something to Tootie, then Pippa loses it.
Yeah, you're right.
So we do have those 2 more.
I don't mind him as an actor. I just don't like the way they changed his character completely.
I changed it.
Well, when we met him, he couldn't read.
Oh, and now he's completely... Wait, what? No. Okay, now that... I'm immediately mad.
That was a delayed reaction. That was amazing, Jamie.
Now he's on a full scholarship for microbiology to Penn State.
Oh, okay.
Which I need to look up. Is Penn State known for their microbiology?
No, it's not microbiology. It's water. It's marine biology. Marine biology.
Marine biology.
What did I say?
You said
micro penises.
You said microbiology. It's marine biology.
I was thinking micropenis.
Aren't we always? And here's the other thing. We don't really, we do touch upon it, at least much as I hate to credit the writing of this show. They haven't changed the characters that much. He is at Penn State on a football scholarship.
Oh.
So he's a football player. So if I am...
But he's highly intelligent.
If I'm 5'6" Robert Romanus, I'm going to pick a fight with the 6 foot tall football player, black guy. Really?
who's wearing a very nice suit and is very highly educated, unlike that schlump of a guy named Snake,
Yeah.
who seems very restrained with his emotions and speaks very calmly
And they're
about his
just
opinions.
And they clearly what all people, for if you haven't seen the show, what it leads up to is we've got an odd couple here. We've got the working guy who's rolling up his sleeves and in the trenches every day. And then you've got the other one who's dressed up in his nice 1980s tie and jacket, who goes to college on a scholarship. And they don't get along. And neither of them is smart enough to what's the phrase I'm looking for? Shut the fuck up. Jesus.
I had very little problem with that, David. We are gay men. These are two straight men, and one of them is 5'6". So yeah, I can see him being a little aggressive.
But he wasn't the aggressive one. He
No,
just
but I mean,
made a
you know what I
passing
mean?
comment.
But he's not going to let this guy get the best of him. You know, he's going to keep going. He's going to keep going because I don't know how many men who are 5'6" that you know, David, but I've been paid several. And they just never give up. Ugh.
But can we not all just get along? Because clearly they're all there for their love of Springsteen.
Right.
I mean, it was very obvious looking at all of them.
Yeah.
They were all super fans of Springsteen. Yeah.
I have to make a correction. Robert Romanus is 5'9". So,
okay.
But still, the fact is Jeff is a very tall, imposing figure. And I guess you're right, Matthew. It is that straight guy thing of especially the working class guy of I'm not going to let him get the best of me. Certainly not this fucking pretty college boy dude. You
mean the guy that just learned how to read that was like, do you even know how to read books?
Yeah. Do you even know how to? Exactly. It's like
Jeff just turned into a giant douche to me. I have no respect now.
Well, I feel like both of them, because then later when Snake comes in, he's like, I really like your jacket. Really sets off your earring.
Fag.
Exactly. Implication. Faggot. Yeah. Yeah. So, it's like I think they are both equally dickious toward each other, if I can invent a word. So I'm not walking away saying one of them was good and one of them was fine. Both of them could have just let it slide because this is my girlfriend's best friend's boyfriend, and we are just meeting. If
this were a real experience in the real world, if two dudes got to that point of anger without saying anything that angry, it was like two PBS hosts having a fight. Some dude about it. Well, I just believe the working class shouldn't be treated like shit. Well, I don't know what you mean. The working class are known to be thieves and robbers. Well,
yeah.
That's kind of rude to my friends there, pal. No, buddy. Do you read anything more than comic? Like, oh my God, why? How is this turning into a heated argument? They're like,
yeah, there's no heat to this heated argument.
No,
you're right.
Not at all.
When Robert Romanus is like, I gotta get out of here. I gotta get on.
That he was just talking about his career at the moment. I didn't feel there was like no presence.
That's and I wrote that down. I was like, what is it about him that I just don't understand? Because he's very natural, in a way, you know what I mean? But his acting is on such a different, like they were like, did he take a Quaalude before?
Well, he was, I think, because he wasn't given anything to emote off of, and yet their conversation had to build up to them hating each other over the fact that there was some shisty mechanic, and he even says in that first fight, he's like, well, not all of them are like that, but sure, there's people who are jerks. Everybody's in every profession. There's somebody that's a jerk, right?
Yeah.
And then they just immediately go to the blows.
Well, because he says, I'm sure there are jerks in your line of work if you worked.
Yeah.
That college boy.
Guy.
Yeah. I didn't go to college because I thought I needed to be out there working and not hiding behind a school. And it's, yeah. And again, for people who haven't seen it, what's going on is that they learn about the Jo and her mechanic troubles. So as they're commenting on this, Snake is, of course, on the side of the mechanic, saying he's probably just a working stiff doing his best, and he just didn't get to fix the bike. And then,
well, he's not even supporting that mechanic. I think that's what upset me the most. He's like, because Jeff's immediately like, oh, all mechanics are thieves. They should just, what is it?
Yeah.
Give them all a gun and a mask or whatever.
yeah,
And then Snake's like, well, not all of them. I mean, they're just hardworking guys. Some of them can be dicks, sure, but
yeah,
so he's not even defending that guy.
yeah.
Like Hitler.
I guess, yeah, you're right. That there's not even that.
An educated gentleman might respond, "Oh yeah, well you're right.
True, not
So-
everybody's like
So
that.
what are we having for dinner?"
Yeah,
Yeah. Or maybe this isn't a hill I want to die on.
yeah.
3 sentences into meeting my girlfriend's best friend's boyfriend.
Mhm.
And that needs to be the title of oh my God, Matthew, I know you like to do this at the end. Jamie-Lyn,
Yes.
season 9 is the season where they have tried so many different backdoor pilots. So they were trying to keep the show going.
I've heard about those. What?
So, giggity. Yeah. Well, what's the backdoor pilot's name?
Well.
So, but no, the backdoor pilots of them trying to create another series and of all the things. So Matthew smartly said, let's treat every episode in season 9 as a backdoor pilot. He's a genius. No one can refute that. So we look at everything and say, okay, look at this. This episode, this is now a backdoor pilot for a new series. It would be Tootie and Natalie. Both of them will marry their respective men. And I just realized the name of that series, Matthew, would be My Girlfriend's Best Friend's Boyfriend. That's the title of the series.
My girlfriend, best friend, boyfriend. Yes.
Yes.
But somehow Jeff and Snake have to live together as roommates for a
Well, all
season.
4 of them do.
Yeah, they'll all end up living together, but they have to give it a test run and get used to each other living alone first.
Yeah.
And they're always hiding their fights from the girlfriends.
Yeah.
I might even just put them like in a duplex.
Yeah. With
You know what I mean?
with a shared door in between somewhere.
Yeah. Something.
Shared patio.
Yeah. And then the big question is, of course, would you watch this series after we've created it and made this premise based on this episode? Would you watch it?
Oh, absolutely not. No.
No. No, fuck no.
The mechanic also comes over out of the blue a lot. He just shows up on their front door.
Yeah, like he does. And the one point that probably one of the only laughs I had in the episode was in passing, Beverly Ann hands him one of is it the cheese puffs that they're making for the other room? And he says, "Oh, those are pretty good." And her response is like, "Oh, really? You think so?" Because Beverly Ann is known for being a terrible cook. And then later, after he leaves, they fight and he leaves kind of in a huff. And she says, "Should we have asked him to stay for dinner?" Cloris Leachman, you sold me on that. The line is preposterous and you fucking made it work. You're a genius. So maybe that could be the romance on the side of this backdoor pilot is the mechanic keeps showing back up at the house
For her cheese puffs.
eating some cheese puffs. And I think you know what I'm talking about.
Can we just bring up the one line where she was talking about the time she went to court for a traffic violation?
Oh, yeah.
She just says it just involves a tractor, potholes, and some chickens.
Thank you, Rosen Island, up in St. Olaf.
What?
We don't get stories like that. Beverly Ann was raised in Appleton, Wisconsin.
Okay. And it's illegal. What is it? Chickens have the right of way in the country?
Yeah.
Like what? What happened to the tractor and the potholes?
But she delivers it so deliberately.
So good.
And like I believed that story happened to Cloris Leachman.
Yeah. It was the most random insert of a like what?
Beverly Ann is known for telling stories, Jamie. And all the girls hate them.
Would you dare say there's a C plot in that Andy and Pippa both want to go to this sold out Springsteen concert? And again, in my heart, I'm not a racist person, but I've been to a Springsteen's concert.
Oh no, Jesus Christ, stop.
Like everybody in this house loves Springsteen.
The
Uh-huh.
Do
the
they?
au-
Do they?
the audience at a Springsteen's concert is like David's pubes, all white.
Oh, whoa, wait a minute. Wow.
And over 40.
Come on. I had to I had to get that joke in there. Come on. But would you consider that a C plot, David? Not your pubes. Your
See, but no,
I mean,
there's no plot or anything happening
yeah,
in my pubes.
that was actually that was kind of a plot hole. I think you could say. They're like,
There's no
hey,
plot hole in my pubes either. That
I'll
would
do
be
any.
anatomically abnormal. But
That would be very bizarre.
so you're saying, Matthew,
Actually.
it's weird that Tootie and Jeff, as Black people, would want to go to a Springsteen concert?
how dare you?
Just let that one drop all for you.
What are you saying?
I think the 80s yuppie vibe of the entire presence of everyone. None of them fit in.
Bruce Springsteen in the 80s, the king of the working class.
Yeah.
That's the argument that they're having. It's about elitism and the working class, David. This is a very deep episode with layers.
Oh, okay.
Snake is the only one that I could actually agree listen to Springsteen. Snake. I don't believe Natalie's heard Springsteen.
No.
She's seen the poster.
Yeah.
She hasn't heard the music.
And I'll tell you, the theater gal Tootie with two has yet to experience a Springsteen's concert.
But they've all been to a spring. We've had multiple. Haven't we had at least two Springsteen concerts mentioned throughout back in the Eastland years? Didn't they?
I'm sure we have.
That would still make more sense then, though, with their 8. I don't know.
Well,
I think
I'm
it's
looking
just
this up.
Everybody looks like they're middle class bankers, and
they're all
Tootie's
40-year-old
like
secretaries.
little scarf pinned to her shoulder, getting ready to go to the Springsteen concert. I'm like, what? You mean after the office party? What?
Yeah, and the press conference you're obviously going to be holding. Yeah.
He wore his earring for the concert. I guess that was him loosening up.
Oh, don't get Matthew started.
She's ready to fire the whole board and replace him with a board who will approve.
Exactly.
She has controlling interest in Denver Carrington.
Yeah. But okay, so Born to Run was 1975. So Facts of Life started in 79. And
when
then
was Back to the USA or whatever?
Born in the USA was 84.
See, that's what he was still
And
riding
then
off
Tunnel of Love
Yes.
was 87.
Nobody knows that one.
Tunnel of Love, the singles were Brilliant Disguise, Tunnel of Love, One Step Up, Tougher Than the Rest, and Spare Parts. Those were the 5 singles, and I'm not familiar with any of those.
You know who is?
Who?
Jeff and Tootie.
Jeff and Tootie, the Springsteen.
Obviously.
He bought box seats.
Oh, box.
As a very well-educated football player does.
Well, we're going to the concert. We're going to the movies. And then he says, enjoy the concert, Andy and Pippa. And he says, no, you can't do. And Snake says, no, you can't do that. And then Jeff says, they're my tickets. Then why aren't you going to the concert?
Yeah.
They have to sit. Are they even sitting together? I would imagine.
I'd be like, well, he said box seats, I believe, which I don't know how that
Well,
works.
I think
All
he
of them
just
are in a
means that
box?
these two are ours, that they're our seats. We paid for them. I guess they probably paid for their own.
Okay.
No,
all right.
Now we're into of all the things that bothered me in that episode, that didn't even.
Well, they didn't say anything with it. Like, what was the kid's name? Pippa and
Andy.
who?
Pippa.
Pippa and Andy. He expressed at least he really wants to go, and they just happen to be like, "Here, kids, here's some tickets. You're going now." Like, yeah, awesome, and then they leave. So, how old are these children, and why would they suddenly now be babysitting?
They're like 14. I think he's 14 and she's
Concert.
16 or something. But there is that lovely line where he says, Pippa kind of says, I feel weird about taking these tickets. I think this is kind of this seems to be the product of a fight that's going on. And Andy just goes
there.
And Andy just goes, who cares? And they go, let's go tell Beverly Ann we're going. Bye. Peace out, bitches. It's like Tootie and Snake don't have to take you there if they don't want to. They've already expressed they don't want you you kids going, this is a Springsteen concert. This is for grown-ups only.
You're minors. They're not going to let you in.
Yeah, this is an adult only Springsteen concert.
Actually, probably not. There are probably a lot of
Explicit lyrics. Yeah.
hip young 13-year-olds.
Yeah. So what we haven't talked about yet in this plot line is, as is the awful TV trope of the boyfriends not getting along, we take it one step further where slowly it starts creeping in where Tootie and Natalie start fighting with each other.
What do you mean slowly? It was like immediately they were clawing out their eyes. Your boyfriend's wrong. No, your boyfriend's wrong, bitch.
Yeah. I thought you said you were meeting Jeff at the restaurant. Why is he showing up here at the house? And Tootie's like, I can have him show up at the house. Why wouldn't I?
My fiance, well, see, that was pissing me off about it. She kept pulling rank with fiance.
Yeah.
Like, look, bitch, you're what, 19 and you're engaged?
Yeah. And doesn't she even say you two are...
You're just sneaking around?
Sneaking around.
Like, what does that mean?
And earlier when she says we're going to live together and our kids are going to be raised together, and there's something about
Judgy Ash Tootie's like, well, my kids aren't going to play. My kids aren't allowed to play with your kids. If you're going to be unwed and have children out of wedlock, my children can't be.
That's what it is. Natalie implied that she wants to have kids, but hey, Snake and I may not be married or whatever. And Tootie is just like, you fucking whore cunt. And
your children will be bastards. Shame. Shame.
Shame.
All right, Tootie.
Yep.
Oh, by the way, she does say, David, that she's going to cancel her reservations where? At the Hudson Grill.
We've heard of the Hudson Grill before.
Yep.
Absolutely. Okay. You know what? So this is a good episode.
The Hudson Grill might be right next door to the Hudson Valley Community Center.
Wow.
That's where Joe works.
But is it near the Wonderland Grill restaurant where Blair wanted to go and they misunderstood that she wanted an Alice in Wonderland themed party?
It's probably right across from the restaurant that has the full orchestra.
Yeah, the string quartet and the high French cuisine. Because, you know, Peekskill, New York, food town.
Yeah, food. A lot of foodies in Peekskill.
And then there's diners with pimps who wear purple pocket squares.
Correct.
Thank you. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
They had that set. So.
Yep.
But David, we also take another little sitcom trope that I didn't even think about being a sitcom trope of making your friends be your servants.
Oh my God. I never thought of that. You are so right.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
And when Tootie says, just leave the tray, dear. Thank you, dear. Fuck right off, Toots.
She was exceptionally fucking rude to everybody too. I don't know what the deal was with like Blair being there and having to sneak around. Like, we told you this is our night to be with our boyfriends. You can't be fucking seen, Blair.
They know you. We all live together. We're not. This is you've met.
It's a
Everyone has met.
home. Yeah. Why are you in the living room? She's not seductively flirting with them. Or like,
she's not plopping down and turning on the TV like she's going to watch a fucking show. It's like, okay, you want to steer clear? It's like, we all live here in this bizarrely laid out house.
Yeah.
This Winchester house where the dining room is near the store and the stairs, but not near the kitchen. And yeah, Blair literally is just walking in and politely and deferentially kind of trying to sneak around and take her books and they still call her out. It's like, I'm being nice here, bitch.
But then Judy just flat out tells her, well, could you hurry the fuck up? Could you just get out? Like,
she also is not wearing shoes. Blair was not wearing shoes.
I noticed that. She was not. That's how casual it was.
That's how she's sneaking around.
Yeah.
Because, you know, you're going to get comfortable. All you're going to do is kick off your shoes. You're going to leave on your hose. You're going to leave on your ankle length, probably rayon or linen skirt.
and the slip and the itchy slip. Yep.
You're going to leave all that on. Just kick those shoes off, girl. Get comfy.
Mm-hmm.
And don't get Matthew started on, typically Tootie has hats on. Typically Tootie's ensembles have hats involved. And so
because you just sit at home with your hat on. I don't know about you.
I mean, if it goes with the outfit.
Yeah. You come home from college and going to classes and you leave your hat and again, your hose and your heels. And
clearly she dresses like
Yeah.
she runs the
Yeah.
Bank of America at all times. Tootie's walking around in heels and shoulder pads.
Yeah.
At all
That
times
blue
too,
dress
apparently.
that she has,
That dress.
that was like Joan Crawford level shoulder paddum.
No, because she was the villain. She was the uppity villain at that point. I'm like, what are they doing with this dynasty shit right now?
Oh my God.
And then
That's
you have
so
Natalie, who's the working class lady, easy
Yeah.
with her opinions, the snarky one, cracking on her fashion. I'm like, what is this?
She's wearing a blazer and a plaid dress to her knees. She's wearing basically a jumper with a blazer over it.
Yeah.
And then Tootie's wearing the same dress with the pleather shoulder pads.
Well, I feel like I've gone through pretty much all of what I needed to say about this episode. What else do we want to say? Anything, or we want to give our final thoughts?
I did have one last thing, if I may, Jamie-Lyn, and I'll
You
leave
may.
you to perfectly end up, because I don't know if we've covered all your newts. The payoff for this episode was kind of wonderful, with Snake turning and ruining the ending of the movie that
I did love
Tootie
that.
and Jeff are gonna go to.
That was great.
That was
great.
really good.
Oh, that was a great little button for the end of this episode.
His delivery on it was
Bravo.
well done too. That was, again, like, he was very natural. And I think maybe that's what was so off-putting, is nobody else felt natural.
Because
Yeah.
everybody else is playing a little more anime. Again, he's more of a film actor, technically. If you think of
Yeah.
it, Robert Romanus was not a sitcom guy. He's
He's doing film acting, and they're doing three camera
vaudeville. Yeah.
But then also portraying a villain to some extent. Everybody has sort of with Natalie, but kind of everyone has their villain moment.
Yeah.
Except for him, really.
Oh,
I
yeah.
mean, he kind of acts like a jerk, but again, he still just seems
I'll give
natural.
it calling Jeff a fag. I think we'll give that as his villain
Yeah.
moment, saying a
Yeah.
dude with an earring in 1988. And again, that was out of nowhere. That was, hello, Snake, come into the house. Oh, hi, Jeff. Nice jacket. Goes with the earring. It's like,
Yeah.
dude, he could snap you in two like a twig.
Yeah, but if he's named Snake,
Mm.
Right?
I mean-
He's scrappy.
He's
gotta be-
scrappy. He's
there's
scrappy.
got to be a reason why he has the name Snake.
Yeah.
I mean, if nobody ever discussed this, how did she meet a guy named Snake?
It was when Natalie was working in the road crew herself. She was trying to find herself and working different odd jobs and temp jobs because
So
she
they
didn't want to
met
go to
at what?
college right away. So that's where she met him. Snake was the cute guy laying the tar, as it were.
Yeah,
Did you watch
Yeah.
Family Ties?
I did. Yeah.
Watch on. Remember Scott Valentine as Nick, Mallory's boyfriend? Hey,
Did he have kind of like the big swoopy hair?
big swoopy
The
hair.
kind
and
of
he
big
had
dumb one.
the earrings, the big
yeah,
dumb
He
one.
had the big dangly ear. Yeah.
That is who Snake should have been.
Yes, that's what I
That.
expected to walk in the door.
Mm-hmm.
Or like
We've
a
said
guy
that
with
before.
hair who something tattoo, greasy hair, something
he
about him that
supposedly had tattoos. Didn't he? They made an illusion of tattoo. I guess they're covered up. We can't see them.
well, I mean, I'm sorry. Again, Snake.
Yeah.
I was thinking he was kind of like the dirty mechanic guy, whatever.
Yeah.
That's what they were going for. The blue collar, hardworking.
Yeah. Or a
You
big bulge in his pants and a serpent going down the pant leg.
Yeah, the completely shaved head with the tattoo.
Yeah. Nice skinhead,
Some kind of gutter punk. Something. Yeah,
neo-Nazi. That would have been more appropriate, I think.
he doesn't look like he'd be named Snake
No.
at all. He doesn't sound like a person
Yeah.
who'd be named Snake at all.
No.
So, do we know? Will we ever find out why he's called Snake? Do they explain that in the next one?
Nope.
Okay,
Nope.
we need a good story why he's named Snake.
He was called
I need
Snake
to know.
because of all the other stuff that they told us about him, that we got the idea that he had earrings and piercings and tattoos and stuff. It made sense until he showed up. And,
Yeah. I was like, where was Billy Idol? That's who needed to walk in the door.
Yes,
Billy Idol.
exactly.
You
Yeah.
know? No,
But-
not super relaxed guy in a plaid shirt and pressed khakis.
Yeah. So a lot of tropes going on in this episode.
mhm.
And you know what? I just realized earlier when I think I misspoke. When the mechanic came in and offered to settle for like half price, Blair is the one that wants to settle. And it's
Yeah.
Joe that says, no, if he's going to sue us, it's the principle of the thing. So Joe is the one who actually continues to fight the good fight. And then Blair's
just about the money.
Yeah, absolutely. And the hair and the
hair.
frosty
Fashion.
eyeshadow and the
Nice
cut crease.
smoky lid.
Bitch, you fucking work.
Yeah, she was stunning. Absolutely stunning.
Mm-hmm. Any other final words, Jamie-Lyn, before we send you and your beautiful face on your way?
Lovely. On my way out of my closet. No, that was fine, guys. Thanks for having me. And I'm so happy to see your faces.
I'm so happy to see your face, Jamie-Lyn.
We miss you terribly. We miss the days when we used to work together. And the one good thing is, I think we all did appreciate working together.
Oh, absolutely.
We really did have a great time. We enjoyed each other. We did our work. We found fun in the work. We found fun in each other, all of us, citizens of Hollywood. And I think back so fondly, and I don't think back with regret, thinking like, oh, we should have done this, should have enjoyed each other more. We really did have a great time.
That's the hardest part about the whole thing, is the fact that despite it was under whatever corporate umbrella you want to put it under, it was a cast of amazingly talented people that I get to look back on these days now as a, oh my God, I got to do that with those people. Not, it was a good job. I am so fucking honored to have worked with the amount of crazy talent in this town via that stage, via a couple other stages on property as well. But that's the thing that hurts is I don't get to go back to that anymore and work with all of you daily.
Jamie-Lyn, that's the kindest compliment anyone's ever given me.
Well, that was pointed directly at you.
Oh, I know.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
You're
very
welcome.
kind.
You're welcome.
Thank you for doing this again.
Thanks for having me again, guys. Love you, love you, love you.
Smooches and goodbye. Mwah.
Goodbyes. Mwah.
And there you have it. That was Jamie-Lyn Markos. So happy to get her back on the show for a return engagement. Next week, we're going to be watching Season 9, Episode 16, The First Time. The big episode, the Natalie losing her virginity episode. We are so looking forward to discussing it, and I am thrilled to tell you that MVP guest Paul Padilla will be joining us. You can watch the episode ahead of time for free at dailymotion.com. I will post the link in the show notes and on this episode's webpage. That's all for now. Thank you so much for listening to this week's show, and remember, the facts of life are all about you.
Let's Face the Facts was created, produced, written, hosted, and edited by the wonderful David Almeida. Our theme song was beautifully arranged and recorded by Ned Wilkinson. Please visit FaceTheFactsPod.com for supplemental photos and videos, links to social media, and ways that you can support the show. And don't forget to subscribe, rate, and review. This is Matthew Arder saying tune in again next week for another thrilling episode of Let's Face the Facts.